In this lesson, we're going to talk about the operation of complex numbers of multiplication and division. And I also got another video on the additions and subtractions. So I want you guys to check that video. But for this one, let's just talk about the multiplication and division. So we're going to do a lot of examples and I hope you guys can enjoy the video. So let's get started. Well, let's just talk about the multiplication first. So as you guys have seen, we got an example on the multiplications and it says 2 plus 3r times by 3 plus 2r. So when you count the multiplication, it is so easy. So all we have to do is just multiply these two by both 3 and 2r. So that's the first step. So we're just going to multiply them. So let's multiply 2 by 3 and also by 2r. So when you multiply 2 by 3 will be 6 and 2 times by 2 will be 4. So it will be 4i, and then next we're gonna multiply this 3i by both 3 and also 2i. So when we do that, we're gonna get 3i times by 3 will be 9, will be positive 9. So we're gonna put plus over here, and so it will be 3 times by 3 is 9, so it will be positive 9i. And then 3 times by 2 will be 6, but since we got these two i's, it will be 6i squared. So it will be 6i squared. Now, now the second step will be, let's just simplify this whole thing. So when I simplify, I'm gonna get 6 plus, so 9 plus 4 would be 13. It will be 13i, and then plus 6i to hold the power of 2. Now let's just change this I square into the negative I. So when I change it, I'm gonna get 6 plus 17i plus 6 times by this I square will equal to negative 1. As you guys have seen, or I've actually made a video on that too, on the basics of the complex numbers. So if you guys have seen that video, there's a formula. So there's 4 basic formulas. So one of the formulas is r squared, and r squared is always negative 1, so it will be negative 1. So now let me do it over here. So it will be 6 plus 13r minus 6. 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. So my last answer will be what? It will be 0 plus 13r, because 6 plus negative 6 is 0. So for that reason, it will be 0 plus 13i. So lastly, this one will be my real part, and this one will be my imaginary part, and we're done. So this is all you have to do. It's just the first step is just multiply. Just multiply 2 by both 3 and 2i, and then you also have to multiply 3i by both 3 and 2i, and then eventually you're gonna get this answer. And if you guys got two i's, it will be r squared, and r squared is always equal to negative 1. And then when you just multiply 6 by negative 1, we get negative 6, and 6 plus negative 6 is 0. 0 plus 13r is my last answer, and 0 is my real part since it is constant number, and 13r is my imaginary one since it has since it has I in it. So this is it, and this is all you have to do. So now let's go to the second question, and we're gonna do a lot of questions. So now let's go to the second one. Okay, now the second question is also the same. I think this one might even be the easiest than the previous one. So I want you guys to stop the video and try by yourself and see if you get the answer. So let's do it. So 3i times by 2 will be 6i, and 3i times by 4, it will be 3 times by 4 is 12. So it will be minus 12. Since we got two i's, it will be I squared. And then 6i minus 12, I squared will be what? It will be negative 1. So 6i, and since we got two negatives, it will be positive. So my last answer will be 6i plus 12. And then this one will be my imaginary part, and this one will be my real part. Actually, we better write this one as 12 plus 6i. So this is just the standard form, and this one will be my real part, and this one will be my imaginary part. So this is it, and it is so easy when you count these multiplications, and just all you have to do is just multiply them, and get the answer. And if you guys got 2 i's, it will be -1. So that's the thing and the key thing you have to remember. So now let's go through some division questions, and let's do some divisions now. Okay, when you counter a division question, it's a little bit different than that of the multiplication. It's a little bit tough. So let's do this one. Well, this one is a division. So the first thing that I want to do is just I want to multiply by its inverse or by its opposite. So it will be 1 over 3 minus 2i. So 1 times 1 will be, it will be 1. So let's do the denominator. Just when you multiply the denominator, you're going to get 3 times by 3 is 9. And 3 times by -2i is -6i. And 3 times by 3 is 9. So it will be positive. 3 times by 3 is 9. 3 times by -2i is -6i. Actually, it will be positive 6i. So the first thing that I do is just I multiply 3 by 3 and I get 9. And then I multiply 3 by the -2i and then I get -6i. And then 2i times by positive 3 and positive 2 times positive 3 will be positive 6i. So that's the thing. I don't want you guys to get confused. So that's the thing that I did. And then lastly will be 2 times by, or this one times by this one. I'm going to get -4i. Since we got 2 i's, will be square. And then you cancel this one, and then you're left with 9. You're left with 9 minus 4. I squared will be what? It will be -1. And then 9. So since we got two negatives, it will be positive. So plus 4. And it will be 13. So my answer, or my last answer, is 13. So let's just, let me write it over here. And let me erase this whole thing. So when I multiply them, I get 1 over 13. But this is not my last answer though. I also gotta do some stuff. What I want to do if I got this answer, or after you get this one, is so see this one and see this one is 3 and this one is also 2i. So you want to put this 3 over here. So and then you're gonna get 3 over 13. And then the second thing that I have to do is just change this sign. So when you change the plus, it would be minus. But if it was negative, it would have been plus. So all you have to do is just change the sign. So when I change the sign, it will be minus. And I'm also gonna take this one, or this 2i, and put it over here. So when you put it this one, when you put it over here, you're gonna get 2i over 13, and this will be your last answer. So first, or the first step is just multiply by its inverse and get the answer, or get this one. And then secondly, see the things in the denominator and then put the first one, or the first number, or the constant, or the real part into this spot, and then you get this one. So once you get this one, and then you have to change the sign, and you change it the sign, and then after that you also got to put the imaginary part in the denominator spot over here, and then finally that will be your answer. That will be your last answer. So this is all you have to do. Actually, there's also another process, but this one is actually the easiest one. It's kind of like the shortcut, so that's the reason that I chose this method. So now let's do some other question in this division topic. Okay, this one is a little bit different than the previous example, since we got two i's or in the denominator and also in the denominator. So the first thing that I want to do is just multiply by its inverse. So the inverse of, actually you gotta multiply by the inverse of the denominator. So it will be 5 plus 2i. You have to multiply both sides. So it will be times by 5 plus 2i. Okay. Now let's just do those all multiplication stuff. So 5 times by 5 is 25. I'm doing the denominator actually. So 5 times by 5 is 25, and 5 times by 2 will be positive 10i, and minus this one by this one, you're gonna get minus 10i, and then negative 2i times by positive 2i, you're gonna get negative 4i squared, since we got two i's, and this will cancel, and then 25 minus 4, so I squared will be -1, and 25 minus 4 times by, this will actually be, it will be positive since we got these two negatives, so it will be positive, so 25 plus 4. And then lastly, my denominator will be 29. So let me just put it over here and let me erase this part. Okay, now we're done with the denominator. So now let's do the denominator part and let's see what we're gonna get. So okay, so I times by, I'm just doing the denominator now. So I times by 5, it will be 5i, and then I times by 2i, it will be positive 2i squared, since we got these two i's. So this one times by this, there's 2i. So for that reason, it will be 2i squared. And then 3 times by 5 will be 15, and 3 times by 2 will be 6i. Okay, now I think I'm done. So now let's just change this I squared. So 5i plus 2, I squared will be -1, and then plus 15, and then it will be plus 6i. So, and then this will be what? It will be 5i plus -2i, since I got -1. So when you multiply, you get negative, it's not actually I, you're gonna get 2 times by -1 is -2, and then plus 15 and plus 6i. Okay, now let's just collect like terms, so imaginary with imaginary. So this will be what? It will be 5i plus 6i, these two are imaginary numbers, and then plus -2 plus 15. So let me do it over here. So 5i plus 6i is 11i, and then -2 plus 15 is 13. So it will be positive 13 or positive 13. So let me just switch them. I just want to write it in standard form. So if it is in standard form, you have to write the real part, and then after that you have to write the imaginary part. So it will be 13 plus 11i. Okay, now I'm done. So my denominator will be 13 plus 11i. Okay, so let me erase this whole thing. So now, and it means that I'm done. So that's all you have to do. So my answer, my last answer will be 13 over 29 plus 11i over 29. This will be your last answer. So when we just recap, or let's just review the whole thing that we did. So the whole thing that I did is just I multiplied the first of all, I multiplied the denominator. So when I multiplied the denominator, I get 29. And then after that, I multiplied the denominator. So when I multiplied the denominator, I get 13 plus 11i. And then that was my answer. And after that, I just, separate them. And then I get this part, or I get the last answer. So that's the whole thing. And that's the thing you have to do when it comes to this multiplication and division. So I hope you guys get some understanding about multiplication and also division. So this is it, and I hope you guys get benefited from this video. So thanks for watching and have a good day.